This is going to be the tutorial to basically host a Jellyfin server, as well as download all the, I guess, requirements, the tool you'll need to like download the actual movies, the actual like files and everything. I'm not gonna lie, I already recorded a part in this, but I forgot to make sure my audio was on, so it is completely silent. So I am redoing this part, but I will be showing you the code and what you need to do while you basically get this set up. All right, as this is basically showing you what the tools flex client, like I said, or well, I said in the last video, but my operating system is running on Linux Mint, so it is not using Windows. And in case you don't know what Linux is, it's just another operating system besides Windows. All right, so honestly, using Linux Mint is going to work way easier, way better, way faster. And how we're going to basically get this to work on your Windows is we're going to install the Windows subsystem for, or Windows Linux subsystem for Windows, and basically run all our code on a Linux terminal and basically download that into your Windows machine. My operating system, or not operating, this is basically showing the virtual machine. And I basically installed Windows onto this virtual machine. Okay, see, there's a lot of things that went wrong with this. First being that WSL was kind of having problems installing on the virtual machine, and I couldn't get WSL2 to install. But like I said, I'm running mine through a virtual machine. You should not have this problem. All you really had to do is do WSL space dash dash install, and it should install. Realistically, on your system, it should install. But here I'm showing you how to get your Jellyfin server set up. You're going to want to install the Windows version. All right, so once Jellyfin gets installed, before we even do that, this is basically showing you, we're going to basically create a folder, a movies folder, where you're going to want to put your downloaded films and shows and series, and because you don't want it to be with the rest, you don't want to put in videos, because I'm assuming videos is probably your own like videos for whatever you have, and you kind of want to separate the two, otherwise the videos will load up into your Jellyfin server. So make sure you create a separate folder where you can place all of that in. This is basically showing the setup process. Okay, yep, it's going to install it. Okay, just click next, bro. You're taking too long. Let's go. Yeah, I ain't got all day, brother. Come on now. So let that install. Alright, so once that's installed, you're going to see it show up on your desktop, at least the Jellyfin server. When you click on it, it's basically going to give you, not really an error, but information saying that the Jellyfin tray application is already running. That's because that is the Jellyfin server and not necessarily the Jellyfin application. That's going to be the back end, and you're going to be running that server on your local host on a browser. To actually run the server, you're going to go down to that tray, right click it, and open Jellyfin, and this will essentially basically open it up in your web browser, if it's going to open up. All right, there, open up, and then give you the walk by. So yeah, click next. There you're going to set up your username, you're going to set up a password, and this is essentially going to allow, if you want family or friends to like basically use the same server, they'll be able to like connect that way. Here, it is important you click which specific content you're using. For this example, we're using movies and shows, so just go ahead and click movies. But if you're going to do like books or music or whatever on your own terms, you can go ahead and do that. This is the preferred language, just click English. Country or region, just United States, depending on if you're actually in the United States and you actually speak English. Most of these boxes you don't really need to check, they're not really important, so I would just keep them unchecked for now. You can always read it and then check it if you want to, but for right now, there's no point. I will recommend checking these boxes though. All these ones that I'm checking right here, I recommend checking those. And here we're going to be creating folders. So like I said, when you created that movies folder earlier, this is what it's for. So what we're doing is we're initializing this path to be the movie. So whatever is in this folder on our system will basically get transported onto our Jellyfin server. All right. And what we're essentially going to do when we get the Flex client tool is we're going to download or install all of those movies and shows to that path. So when it does download to that directory, it'll automatically be placed in our Jellyfin server. We'll just have to scan the library for it to basically let it appear, and it should be working. Next, we're just going to basically finish the actual process. Just click next. And this one, you don't have to click it, but if you do plan on letting your families and friends or like your family house log into the server, it may be recommended to do it. But like I said, if you're just using it specifically for yourself, you do not have to check this box. You can just go ahead and click next. All right, and then we finish. Sign in. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm back. Ready to continue the tutorial. I was having some issues. Okay, so if you are following along, if you do this command, right, you should be able to install Windows Subsystem for Linux. Since I'm running this through a virtual machine, it isn't properly installing. So I had to basically like, instead of installing WSL2, I had to go back to WSL1. But like I said, if you run this command, it should work on your end, right? And if it doesn't work, then let me know. I'll show you what I did to get it working on mine. Like I'll do that, but we should be caught up, right? We're going to be installing this tool, Flix client, right? And it already has a tutorial how to do it. So right here it says if you're doing this through Linux, I would recommend doing pipx install instead of just pip, because if we run this command, it's not going to work properly. Also, if you don't have the pip command on your terminal, just run this sudo app update. It's gonna ask for your password, so make sure you remember your password for when you set up this. You have to remember your password, right? It's gonna ask for that. This is the admin privileges or the root privileges, that sudo. And then you're gonna run this command, sudo app install python 3 pip. But like I said, if you run this command how it is, like this, no, wrong thing, it's gonna give you this error. It's gonna be like, this is a environment externally managed, blah 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 blah. Okay, I can't even see the bottom, blah 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 blah. It's not gonna be able to see. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to set up a virtual environment, right? Which is pretty simple. It's nothing difficult. Just run this command, and then this is basically the name of it. All right, so you can name it whatever, but that's basically what the name is. Just these are like the traditional way of naming it. So we'll run that. Okay, well, like I said, this is only happening because I am on I'm doing this through a virtual machine. You should be able to create it, right? Actually, wait, I should have the command already set up. All right, boom. All right, it should be created. You can check. All right, see there, right there. Yeah, it's created. All right. All right, and then next you're gonna have to run this command. All right, to basically activate it. And anytime you want to run this tool, you have to make sure your virtual environment is currently running. If you try to run the command without the tool, it's not going to work. You'll know it's running by the environment symbol right there to the left of it. That's basically give you your clue that it's working. I forgot to mention before you want to clone the repo, make sure you install Poetry. Just run the command to install pipx if you don't have it installed already. It should install, and then you should be able to install Poetry. And Poetry is basically just going to allow us to build the tool or build the dependencies for the tool to work. All right, next you're gonna want to run this command right here to clone the repo. Git. All right, that should start cloning it. Okay. So, how's your day been? You know, chilling. That's pretty good. Yeah. Same. Okay. Right. There we go. We can end the awkward talk. All right. So, okay, bet it's there. All right. So then we're going to cd into it. Check that. Okay. There's the Poetry. Next, we're going to run this command to build it. And I should build it. Yep. Okay. Bets. All right. And finally, we just do this. My fault. I forgot to make sure that this is activated. This is what I mean by you have to make sure this is activated for it to actually to run the command. All right. Actually, wait. This should be already. There we go. All right. And once this is installed, we should. Okay. This is where the okay. This is where the confusing part's gonna really get. So first, let's make sure this is actually working. Okay, yeah. I thought so. I thought that would happen. Okay. Um. Can I see that command? It says sudo apt install ffmpeg. Make sure you install that. So nano into that specific file, and we're going to change the directory path. If you cannot see what that says, I am sorry, but that is directory is mnt, so it's mint slash c little c, so little c slash users slash whatever your name is. Do not put winopv. All right, that is mine. It is your directory, and if you don't know what your username is, you can check in your files folder on your Windows system, or you can click pwd on your Linux machine, and that is going to be the name of your user slash movies or whatever folder you named at the beginning. If you want to play it, you're just gonna have to figure that shit on yourself. I'm just here to download it to the server, and hopefully, because the server is already going to be using a media player, that it can just play from the server. Okay, so it looks like it's downloading. So I will let it finish downloading and see if it works. All right. So this is let Let us check. Let us check. Ooh. It is right there. It is right there. All right. It is right there. Ah. All right. So if we go to the server now. God damn it. Or we go to the server now. Okay. Let me scan all libraries.
It was fun.
Okay. Finally. I ain't never making a Windows tutorial again, bro. Y'all niggas got it, bro. Y'all gotta figure that shit out yourselves next time, bro. I'm not ever doing this again. So I might have to, I might have to remake this tutorial because low key, it's kind of all over the place. I ran into too much like difficulties trying to get this thing to install. So I might have to remake it just so it's more fluid. But I will cut it up so you can see each step, so you know what to do. That being said, this can get anything you want, like at least as far as I'm concerned. Like for example, Breaking Bad, like boom, there it is, Breaking Bad's right there. So you can essentially just go and download any movie, TV show, series, whatever to that directory, and it will be on your Jellyfin server. And you can, like I said, you can share this with your families or friends. It's gonna take a long process. If you really want to make it more robust, you might have to spend some more money and actually like get an actual like server set up, and not just like a local host server, like an actual server. Um, right now you might have to do manual installation. I do want to eventually like make a script so that I could just automate it, but that's for later. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, thumbs up, please. Oh my god, this was painful. But yeah. See you next time.